Gents, moving on to the next big topic, Christmas wish list. I know you've all got a lot of gifts that you want to give and receive. But I'm thinking specifically about transfer needs, and the January window is just around the corner. It's coming up. And which Premier League team needs to do the most business? I'm looking at some of the teams struggling at the bottom: West Bromwich Albion, Sheffield United. We know they love to do a lot of business. And dare I say, Arsenal, Nick Mandola, may be one of the busiest teams in January to try and get themselves out of trouble.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to have to do in terms of getting people out the door, and that's my big question. I look at Mesut Ozil, who must have absolutely murdered someone. We must not know something about Mesut Ozil that is, because frankly, he is a piece that I don't know that you're counting on for 90 minutes, although Arteta did for the first 10 games of his Premier League tenure.
Yeah.
So they need somebody to unlock Aubameyang. Because I don't think we all think Aubameyang's cooked. We might doubt the contract, but I doubt that he's cooked. Lacazette is a finisher if you get him the ball as well. So what are they going to do? The best thing that could happen for them, obviously, is for Thomas to be healthy. But something needs to happen there. But they bought a lot of pieces in the summer. Center back, center mid. Those are supposed to be important pieces for them. I don't know what they're going to do, but they need to do something.
Andy, do we need to be more patient with Arsenal, or do they need extra firepower? Because clearly scoring goals and creating chances, I never thought I'd be saying this about Arsenal, but that's a big problem for them.
Patience. Maybe. I don't they keep repeating the same process over and over every single year where they and Nick mentioned the contract for Aubameyang. They signed Willian in the summer at 32. I didn't understand it then. I understand it even less now. You've got 15% or so of your wage bill committed to two players that are at 31, 32 years old and seem to be aging pretty quickly. So I would say it's more of kind of a top-down, restructuring, but maybe just new set of ideas. So maybe a new set of eyes in the boardroom and in the, kind of the transfer committee at Arsenal would be something that you could say that they could use for Christmas, because I don't know that throwing more money into this team is actually going to fix it, because the problems they're more foundational than anything, in my opinion.
And obviously, continuing with the last Christmas theme, Arteta arrived last Christmas. Arsenal fans, they gave them their hearts, and now, I'm not going to finish off the rest of the song, but I think it's going to be a big few weeks and months ahead for Arteta to bring in the players he wants and obviously get them out of this mess that they find themselves in. And like you said, he needs to be backed and needs some patience, but I don't know if we're going to get that right now of Arsenal, because already the tide is turning against them. So, yeah, some teams at the bottom are struggling. What about at the top? I'm looking at the big boys. Do Liverpool need to bring a new centre-back? Maybe Tottenham do. A Man City going to bring in a striker? There are a few big teams there are struggling through injury issues. Andy, do Liverpool actually need a new centre-back? Because even without Gomez and Van Dijk, they're still top of the table and sitting pretty, right?
Yeah, it's good for now until the next one picks up an injury, and maybe it's just for a couple of weeks, but that could be 2 or 3 games coming up kind of over the next couple of months as well, and those could be some points dropped, and with Manchester United making their push that they're doing at the moment, that could really let them back into the title race. I think you just need cover and depth in the position, and so I don't think it's go out and spend 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 million for another kind of starting caliber player, but somebody that's maybe at the right age of their career, maybe kind of into the latter years, someone that's a veteran that can kind of integrate into the team rather quickly, can be counted on for 7 or 8 outings for the rest of the season. You don't have to ask too much of them. You don't put too much on their plate, and just give a little stability to the back line, because as good as Fabinho has been playing there, it's not his natural position. And at some point, some team is going to figure something out. How to target him, how to put him into uncomfortable positions, and teams are going to find a little bit more joy against Liverpool, I think.
Nick, what about Man City? I mean, they are still in the title hunt, just kind of lurking ominously, but really they haven't had a goal scorer all season, have they? I mean, struggling for goals, and Aguero's hardly played, and Jesus hasn't really got going at all. So do you think Pep's going to bring a new striker up top?
Yeah, I wonder about that. The answer, I think, lies somewhere between what Andy was talking about with Liverpool as well, is how do they feel about Aguero? Is this something that looks like it could be a lasting injury? Because the Fabinho answer to me with Liverpool is all linked into Thiago. How is he? Is he going to be back? Because if he's there, then Fabinho and Van Dijk might be your 1-2 pairing. Same thing with Aguero. There's clearly no one like him. I mean, Gabriel Jesus is a very nice player, but not at that same level. At least he's slumping right now. There's got to be someone out there, and I think Pep can work with him. Go back to his days at Bayern. He was able to get some performances out of some older players. I want to say that guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Arjen Robben had a bit of a renaissance when he first got there, despite being a little bit older for a winger. So, Sterling hasn't done the job up top. He's tried some other pieces there, and it hasn't worked. I don't know that it has to be a big spend, but someone in that position makes sense to me.
And for me, I'm looking at teams who have started the season really well and then seeing if they're going to double down. I'm looking at Leicester, Southampton, Everton, and West Ham. They've had great starts to the campaign. Now, can they add a couple of key pieces in January to really keep that momentum going and give themselves a good chance of maybe not just pushing for the Europa League, but how crazy this season's been? They could maybe one of those teams sneak into the top 4. I'm looking at all the teams from the Premier League that are still in Europe. They're all involved. They're in the Champions League or Europa League. So when it comes around to February, March time again, there's going to be a lot more games for them to negotiate. So maybe this is a chance now for especially Leicester and Everton. I'm looking at them thinking we can sneak into the top 4. Maybe this is the season of all seasons. We can do something. So that's something to keep a close eye on. And I'm wondering, lads, is there any players out there that you think we should keep a close eye on in January? Because I know there's going to be a lot of talk about Lionel Messi. He's out of contract in July, so he can start negotiating with non-Spanish teams from January. The same with David Alaba, Wijnaldum at Liverpool. Don't forget, he hasn't signed a new deal as of yet. Ozil at Arsenal, his deal runs out in the summer as well. So any other players to wrap up this segment to keep an eye on and who you think may be on the move in January?
Yeah, I might want to tie into your last comment, Joe, about Leicester and about West Ham and the most important things for them. West Ham, are we going to hear another month of Declan Rice links? Because he's been outstanding for them. Even yesterday was very good. And Ndidi as well. And when I look at those big names you talked about, the Messi one to me, again, I've said this before and I just want to keep saying it, between him, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, there could be some massive movement and reorganization because of the wage situation in Barcelona. And might they just all end up at PSG? I don't know. It's going to be something.
That would be cool. I mean, Andy, there's some players. I'm looking at Danny Ings at Southampton or, other players that have started the season really well and they've got maybe 18 months left on their contract, and this could be the window they would move, right? I mean, would he be someone that maybe clubs would be keeping a very close eye on this situation?
Yeah, based on performances of this season, I think he'll definitely draw some interest from some clubs. Now, will Southampton be willing to even entertain the idea? Because if you look at where they're at in the table, selling Danny Ings in January or even at any point, that ends their season effectively based on what he has meant to that team so far this season. And before we move on, I want to give one white elephant gift here very quickly for Newcastle. A very, very expensive counseling session, marriage counseling for Mike Ashley, and see if we can get Rafa Benitez back into the same room and see if we can just work things out between those two, because Rafa left because Ashley wouldn't spend, and then Ashley spent a bunch, and they really need Rafa back. And I think just changing the manager and bringing him back in, if they can just rekindle what they had before and get him back in at Newcastle, they could be a force to be reckoned with.
Listen,
well, that's interesting. Nick, I'm going to let you have a say on Newcastle.
Yeah, real quick. In a serious moment, we saw Steve Bruce's comments on Pro Soccer Talk. I just want Alan St. Maximin and Jamal Lascelles healthy for their own reasons, obviously because of COVID. But they're the two of the most important pieces on the team, and they could get dragged into a relegation race without those two easily.
There you go. A lot of teams up and down the Premier League need to do business in January, so there'll be a lot of transfer talk. There already is a lot over on ProSoccerTalk on NBCSports.com. So we'll keep you updated with the latest transfer news, give our analysis and all the moves. That's what we love to do, right, lads, this time of year. It's a wonderful time of the year for many, many reasons. And the January transfer window just being around the corner is one of those.